Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Journeymen Sports Podcast. I am Cade. Uh, if nobody knows me yet, um, I've been away for quite some time. Uh, you know, some things have happened, but regardless, I am back now, and I am happy to be back. I miss doing this podcasting stuff. Um, Even if it really just is for fun. But me and Garrett have been working hard on getting everything back in the saddle for this podcast and churning content out. So I want to make sure that I hold my part too. Garrett is not here with me today, but um, we're gonna chop it up. Just me and y'all. So um, of course, the football season is really what we try to focus on when that is going in full effect. Football is definitely the main sport that we focus here on this channel. We do a little bit of NBA stuff sometimes, but really the football stuff is what we focus on. And if you're a football fan at all, um, you can clearly see the Panthers are in shambles right now. And being a Panthers fan must be very bad for anyone that is. I am truly sorry because Matt Rule just got fired and things are about to get even more crazy and hectic and just worse for that football team. Um, so with Matt Rule gone now, Steve Wilkes will be the new interim head coach, and Baker Mayfield is also hurt, so he will be benched. I also know I'm not sure if Sam Darnold is still injured. If he is, um, then they'll be down to Matt Corral, which he might be hurt as well too. I don't know who their quarterback is. But bottom line right now is the Panthers are in absolute shambles. The receiving core is good. I believe with Terrence Marshall Jr., DJ Moore, and Robbie Anderson all there, like I feel like you should be able to get something done. Also, you have guys like Christian McCaffrey, who's one of the best receiving backs in the whole entire league and brings a different level of game to that offense. Um, but the offensive line isn't as good as it should be. We'll give Baker that. Maybe that is one of the reasons why he's underperformed. You also got to think he's in a new system. And obviously, Matt Rule wasn't the guy for the job because he's now out of there and hasn't really been successful since being there. Matt Rule was brought in as a guy who, he coached at Temple and turned Temple around. Went to Baylor and turned Baylor around. He turned both those football programs around. He just is another one of those college coaches that couldn't do it at the NFL level, um, which is okay. I'm sure he'll probably land on his feet and find another college team to turn around. That's usually what those really good college head coaches do that don't end up being successful in the NFL. They land on their feet. And I think Matt Rule will. Steve Wilkes, we last saw him fail miserably with the Cardinals, and he's kind of been getting coordinator jobs ever since. But we saw him fail miserably with the Cardinals when Josh Rosen was around, and I saw a joke on social media that said maybe the Panthers were bringing Josh Rosen because they love to stockpile all the quarterbacks from that draft class that didn't pan out and to see what happens. So um, I don't think the Josh Rosen thing is actually going to happen. I hope for the sake of Panthers fans that is not the last resort. But we did last see him fail, so we know Steve Wilkes might not be the best guy to turn a franchise around because given he was only given 1 year with the Cardinals, but in that 1 year, I'm pretty sure they only won like 3 games, 2 or 3 games, nothing spectacular. Josh Rosen looked horrible, and he was a top 10 pick. Um, that whole team was a mess to his credit, but at the same time, he didn't even motivate the franchise enough to keep him around for more than 1 year, and neither did Josh Rosen. So no offense to Steve Wilkes, I just don't have the most faith in him ever. Um, but Baker Mayfield has also looked awful um, when he's been on the field, so it might be a blessing in disguise that he's not on the field this upcoming weekend and probably won't return to the field for a while. I'm sure he'll still be the starter just because of what they traded for him, and he's kind of known to be the guy since he showed up. But I'm sure he'll be the starter once he gets healthy again. But right now, try something else out, see whatever works, and see if you can win a game because that defense is good enough to at least be winning games. I'm not going to say contend or anything, but they're good enough to win games with Brian Burns and J.C. Horn coming back. Um, you know, I'm pretty sure Shaq Thompson's still there. Derek Brown's on that defensive line. Yeturgos Matos is there. Um, uh, what's his name? I'm so sorry. The safety. I'm completely spacing his name right now, but the safety that Jeremy Chin. Jeremy Chin's very good. Yeah. So the guys like that. And then on the offensive side of the ball, I mean, I already named some guys, but you also have a lot of good young talent like Tommy Tremble and guys like that who seem like they're going to succeed somewhere in the future. The tight end, he's very fast. Reminds me a lot of Noah Fant in Seattle, actually. But yeah, I think the Panthers are an absolute dumpster fire right now. Um, they need to figure out quarterback, they need to figure out offensive line, and then they probably need to figure out some things in that linebacking core as well because it's never really been right since Luke Kuechly left, and once Luke Kuechly left, it's been a mess since he left. So, um, yeah, I mean, I need to see some things from the Panthers before they make me a believer again. But as of right now, I do think that they are one of the worst teams in the league. Now they're a very talented bad team. I think if they actually put it all together, they can actually beat some good teams because they have the talent. It's just that talent isn't performing right, and there's clearly something wrong within the organization to where things aren't being operated right. Number one, why would you hire Ben McAdoo? I don't know why you would hire Ben McAdoo ever. Ben McAdoo was a terrible head coach with the Giants, and he's a decent. Um, I think he's their offensive coordinator. He's decent. He's nothing crazy as a coordinator either. So I don't know why you would hire him ever, especially with all the new young minds that are in the league now. But that was their choice, and I don't run the football team, so that is completely up to them, and that's the choice that they made. But we'll see. I mean, I don't really believe in Steve Wilkes just off of what I've seen. I don't think he's going to be a very good head coach. I think he's a good coordinator. I think he definitely deserves a job in the league as a coordinator. I just don't know. Based off of what he's shown as a head coach, I don't think he's a very good one. So with that being said, that's the little Panthers recap. I need to talk. I believe we need to talk about them just because it's such a messy and interesting situation with them right now. Just so much chaos, and they're still paying quarterbacks that are no longer there, and all this stuff. So, they have money tied up in the wrong places, and it's a whole mess. So, yeah, no, but I think that QB controversy is pretty interesting, as well as another one, and I don't even know if we could call this a QB controversy yet, but Mac Jones and Bailey Zapp. I don't know if it's Zappe or Zap, but those two Patriots quarterbacks. I mean, everyone thought, when Mac Jones was drafted last year, he played pretty well, got them to the playoffs just to get blown out by the Bills. Everyone thought that Mac Jones was going to be or was the future of this Patriots franchise. But Bill Belichick, being Bill Belichick, said, hold on, let me just make you a little bit uncomfortable real quick, and drafted a quarterback in the fourth round this year, too, just to throw everybody off. No one knows why. Um, but let me just tell you a little bit about Bailey Zapp. He had one of, if not the best college football season ever. Um, his senior year, I think. He did transfer schools, but he was insanely talented. He had a season where he threw for over 6,000 passing yards. Uh, just crazy things. And to think, he did play at an FCS school, I think, or one of those small region schools that don't get a lot of attention. So I think that's why his draft stock fell the way it did. But also, he wasn't very successful in his first 4 years in college. His fifth year was kind of when he took off, kind of like Kenny Pickett in that way. Um, but there's a huge controversy now because everyone thought Mac Jones was the future. Everyone thought he was going to be the guy, and then he comes in and he plays decent through the first couple games, but then he goes down and he hadn't been playing his best. The game that he went down in, he actually had thrown 3 interceptions in that game before he was hurt. Did not look good at all, and just not the same Mac Jones that we saw last season. So now Bailey Zappe has come in and kind of in Cooper Rush fashion, he's won. He's won some games for them and looked very, very good while doing it. And he can run, he can throw. He has way more mobility than Mac Jones does as a passer. Um, and he looks very, very good right now. Now, it could just be very early in the season and he could completely fall off a cliff, just as I believe that Cooper Rush will. But um, yeah, I think it's very interesting situation right now. With that whole thing, I think Bill Belichick is going to rock with whoever because we saw it in the past with Brady and Bledsoe. I'm sorry, Brady and Bledsoe. We saw him pick the young guy, the guy who's performing the best, and six Super Bowl rings in New England later. Tom Brady's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. So we know that Bill Belichick is not afraid to do anything. He'll bench Malcolm Butler during the Super Bowl, then he'll bench Mac Jones for a 4th-round pick. He doesn't care. He's going to do what he thinks is best to win games, game in and game out. And I truly do believe that that's one of his best qualities as a head coach is performing the way that he does, and making the decisions that he has to based off of how he wants his team to perform. So, I think it's a very interesting situation. I'm not gonna say I think Mac Jones is still the guy just because I haven't seen enough of Bailey Zappe, and I saw Mac Jones take a decent Patriots team to the playoffs in his rookie year, but uh, we'll see. I mean, you never know with Bill Belichick what he's gonna do. The guy is very sporadic, makes very very sporadic decisions, but they sometimes tend to work out. So I'm definitely curious, and I'm ready to kind of see who wins this because I think it's going to be very interesting. I think the Patriots as a franchise are obviously held in very high regard, but also like the quarterback position for the Patriots, that's a huge. Those are some big shoes to fill. I'm not sure that either one of them are going to do that, but with Bailey Zappe looking really, really, really good, I'm definitely intrigued. Definitely a situation I'm going to pay attention to, and I think y'all should too. I'm going to take a quick break, get a little drink of water, and kind of reset, and I will be back with our next 2 topics. So just give me 1 second. Okay, I am back. Um, the next topic that we will be talking about today here on Journeymen Sports Football Podcast. No, I don't want to. It's not a football podcast. I like to goof around and do that. But Journeyman Sports Podcast. The next thing I would like to say and talk about is, early projections for offensive and defensive rookie of the year. Early. I'm talking about way too early to even know. But if I had to pick a defensive rookie of the year right now, it'd be very hard to do because there's been so many players kind of going going crazy and doing their thing. So um but I would probably have to say for defensive rookie of the year, I'm going to go with Tariq Woolen so far because Tariq Woolen, the 6'4", or I think he's 6'3" or 6'4" corner for the Seattle Seahawks. The dude is amazing. He fell, I think, to the 4th round uh, of the NFL draft, and I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't even I barely even looked at him. Um, But then I started to hear Richard Sherman comparisons, and obviously him going to the Seahawks, Richard Sherman comparisons. I had to look, and I looked at his tape, and he looks absolutely phenomenal. But he is new to the position. He is new to corner. Um, He did. I think he transferred over from receiver, if I'm correct. But he's been amazing. His first couple games. Obviously, they didn't. The Seahawks don't have really anybody that can cover the too well right now in the secondary, other than Quandre Diggs and with Jamal Adams hurt, Quandre Diggs is basically all you have in that secondary. Sidney Jones is all right, but he's on and off and usually hurt. So they said, Tariq Woolen, we're going to throw you in as a rookie. Which, by the way, they also took another rookie corner, Kobe Bryant, the other corner at Cincinnati, as everyone likes to call him, while Sauce Gardner was there. Um, they did draft him too, but I'm saying Tariq Woolen because in a matter of 4 to 5 games, he has 17 tackles, a forced fumble, 3 interceptions, 4 pass deflections, and a touchdown. In 4 to 5 games, and he's new at the position. So think about when he actually gets everything that he needs to learn down, and he keeps developing how he already is, and he keeps learning his position, he's going to be an absolutely lethal weapon. And I think he's only going to get better over the season. And he's 6'4" and can run with anyone. He is extremely fast. And obviously his length really helps at that position, but he's extremely fast for that size and very, very talented. And sorry, something happened in the background. I did have to take another quick little break. That was whack. If you saw a cut, that is why. But I am back, and I honestly, we were talking about Tariq Woolen. Dude's super fast. Dude's an amazing athlete. He's my pick for Defensive Player of the Year. If you don't like it, then be sad about it. But that is bottom line. He's my pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Garrett will also give his takes at some point in another episode, whether he's alone or with me or whatever we do. But yeah, no, I think Tariq Woolen is next level, and is going to be a very, very good corner for the Seahawks for a long time to come, and also on a fourth round paycheck. That's ideal. So, yeah, my pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year is going to be Dameon Pierce, the running back for the Texans. The dude's an absolute monster. Just in terms of his stats already through 4 or 5 games. Once again, sorry, I got a little close to the mic right there. 412 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, and 57 receiving yards. 412 rushing yards in 4 games, 5 games. That is crazy for a rookie. And also, he had a run, last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars where he broke probably 7, 8, 9 tackles, 10 tackles. Like, it was crazy. He broke almost the whole defense's tackle. Like, he broke. It was almost the second coming of Beastquake. He just kept going, and that's what he does. He breaks tackles. He's gonna have one of the highest break tackle rates in the NFL, easily. He runs like Marshawn Lynch did, kind of back in his heyday. Just that, full speed ahead, ground and pound. If you're in my way, I'm gonna run you over type of running. Um, I really like what I'm seeing from Dameon Pierce, and that's why he's my pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Because I mean, if he's already doing that in 5 games, and the Texans need a guy that they can look to, then Dameon Pierce can be that guy, and maybe he's one of the building blocks that they continue this rebuild with. And if he wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'll be happy to see it. I think he's a very, very exciting rookie to watch. He almost reminds me of Kenneth Walker for the Seahawks, Kenneth Walker the third, the running back for the Seahawks. But he's less explosive and he's more just power. I mean, but he's still explosive he's not a pure power back, but he definitely will run you over and break a tackle almost every single time he runs. So entertaining to watch. Those are my personal picks for that whole topic. And then my final topic that I wanted to go into is, I think, the next few months of football regardless of how you look at it, everyone in the NFL should be or everyone who watches the NFL should be looking at how much how talented each team is. Even teams like the Giants, the Jets, the even the Texans. Like it's almost possible for any team to win games right now because every team has so much talent. It's just which teams are messing up, which ones aren't, um, which teams are actually valid and which ones aren't. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick two darlings. I'm gonna pick two unexpected surprises and pleasant surprises, and then I'm gonna pick two duds, two teams that I thought were gonna be a lot better and just aren't. They're atrocious. So I'm gonna start with darlings because darlings are more fun. I don't wanna start on a bad note. I don't want to talk about the duds right now. My number one darling is going to be the Giants. The New York Giants have shocked everyone. No one thought they were gonna be, I believe, or yeah, no one thought they were gonna beat the Packers last week. I mean, no one thought that, and no one thought they were gonna be doing as well as they are, especially with Daniel Jones still at quarterback, and all the BS with Kenny Galladay and all that drama that's going on with Kenny Galladay wanting more playing time, even though he's being outplayed by guys a lot younger than him. And then, of course, everyone's been questioning is Kadarius Toney going to get traded? But nonetheless, Brian Dable has found a way to come in and make that offense successful, make that defense play better. I also think that their rookie class substantially helped them. You can definitely just see the offensive line help that they've already gotten from drafting Evan Neal um and then also the defensive line help that they've gotten with Kayvon Thibodeau. So you could tell it was very needed. I'm happy for the Giants. I hope they keep playing well. I'm not a Giants fan or anything. I actually don't really even like the Giants, but um, it's always cool to see a team that everyone doubted kind of doing well and a new coach in a new place doing big things, which I don't think Brian Dable's a surprise to anyone. We know that he knows how to coach based off of what he did with Josh Allen and that whole offense and everything. So happy for the Giants. Happy to see that for sure. Um, and then my other darling is probably going to be I'm gonna say the Detroit Lions, and I know that that may not make sense to some people, um, because they don't have a winning record right now. So people may be like, okay, if they're a darling, then wouldn't they be doing better? Yes and no, but if you look at the way that they've played this season, I have Amon-Ra St. Brown in fantasy. I'm one of the guys who took him in the 6th round, and I got the payouts for the first 3 weeks, and we're looking at him coming back. But I mean, the Lions have been pretty banged up the last 2 weeks, and that's resulted in some losses. But when they have a fully healthy team, even when they don't have a fully healthy team, they're hanging around with everyone. Obviously, the Patriots game was a bad representation of that. But other than the Patriots, they've hung around with every single team that they've played. Made it, made them fight to the very last second to win games, and some just haven't gone their way. But I do believe with Dan Campbell there and all the great coaches that we saw in Hard Knocks and the guys that we saw in Hard Knocks, and just the environment that team has around them right now, just they have kind of like this certain buzz around them that just makes them very very exciting. They have a lot of very young talent. Obviously, Jared Goff is still a problem there, but the young talent is very good in Detroit, and it's shown that they know what they're doing, and they're slowly rebuilding. They are still in the rebuilding process, so we do have to cut them some slack. But I think some of these games are going to start to go their way, and they're going to start winning. And based on what I've seen, they're darlings. They play a lot better than what their record says. So that's my other darling. Um, for duds, I'm gonna go with the Broncos. Are definitely my first dud because You got Russell Wilson and you got worse, and you gave up a lot to get him. You gave up 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, Noah Fant, Andrew Locke, and Shelby Harris. So to get Russell Wilson, you're supposed to be, up there with the top teams in the league, and they're just not. They're not very good at all. We've seen, especially in that Colts game, that their offense cannot move the ball. Russ looks flustered all the time. They got beat by the Seahawks. Like, are you kidding me? It's been a whole mess. I would put this, if I had a third darling, I'd put the Seahawks up there. I don't know where they were in my consideration. It's just I feel like there's so much buzz around the Seahawks right now because everybody knows they're a darling. So I wanted to bring some attention to maybe another darling that people aren't even looking at with the Lions. But nonetheless, the Broncos, like, they have been an absolutely atrocious mess. The defense has been good, but the offense just, they can't move the ball, they can't run the ball, they can't pass. I don't know if it's Nathaniel Hackett, who by the way, I never thought that Nathaniel Hackett was going to be a good coach. I didn't like the signing as soon as they did it, but I'm gonna let that play out. I'm gonna let everyone, do it, think what they need to think. But bottom of the line is, I think the Broncos can find a way to turn it around. But as of right now, they are a dud. They look terrible. They have way more talent than what they're showing, and they're just not putting it to use. They're not using it right. It's not gelling well, and they're a dumpster fire of a team right now. Almost lost to the Texans. That's bad. Okay, my final dud. And final thing to say for this episode is, man, oh man, I'm gonna say the Packers. I'm gonna say the Packers because I don't know. They have a two-time MVP. Um, they have guys in the building that they know. They have a very, very solid defense. So yeah, I still expect them to be top of the line even without Devontae Adams. I do realize that Aaron Rodgers is throwing to, your next door neighbor, but at the end of the day, he does still have Randall Cobb, who he trusts and knows very well, and has been playing with for a long time on and off. Um, he still has Alan Lazard, who's been very, very good this season. And then you have a lot of very young talent, like Amari Rogers is still there. You have, Romeo Dubes, who I believe in. They have Christian Watson, who's literally Drake London, just smaller school and didn't get as much notice. But and he's a little bit slower than Drake London, but I mean, he has the same mechanics, same, almost the same frame, and almost an identical player. So if you have that, you need to be developing those players very well. But they just haven't shown what I thought they were going to show in the first few weeks of the season, and for that reason, they're a dud to me. Um, but that's okay. I think the Packers are going to turn it around. I know the Packers will probably make the playoffs just because Aaron Rodgers. I can't see Aaron Rodgers letting them not. I think he's, we've seen what Aaron Rodgers is, for sure. So with that being said, um, I'm hoping that the next episode is going to come out within the next few days. I think it will. And I'm excited to keep going and get back in the track of everything, like get back on track with everything, and just get this podcast churning again, because I do miss doing this, and I know Garrett missed doing it too. um and I thoroughly enjoy doing this just for fun. And if you like my opinions, please do leave a like, leave a comment. If you don't like anything, or if you think there's anything that we can improve, please do comment. We're always open to feedback. If you are listening, we do appreciate you, because I know that is not, we are not doing this for anything other than just fun and something that we enjoy doing. So, yes, with all of that being said, this has been Journeyman Sports Podcast episode. This will be 13, I believe, right? So yes, this will be episode 13. Um, you know, and 14 is coming very, very soon. Thanks for listening, and enjoy your football Sunday coming up. Journeyman Sport Podcast.